This is just a bunch of filler stuff going on in the draft right now. Nothing is happening. The Panthers have known that they've had the first overall pick for what? How many months now? So I mean, there should be no countdown. There should be none of that. But this is all TV stuff. It's all TV stuff. I'm pulling up everything on my phone. I see Mr. Burton. Shout out to you. Not seeing anything in my streaming software yet, but it'll pop through. Go ahead and refresh my stream. Not the stream you all are seeing, but the stream I'm watching the draft on. I don't know what it is, but wherever I live, I always have the worst like antenna service. So I really cannot get ABC. Can't get ABC. I can only get Fox. So we'll see how this goes. I'm streaming it, so I'm probably about what 30, 40 seconds behind. We got 7 people in here. What's going on? Got 4 likes with 7 people. That's pretty good. I don't know what's going on with the lagging. Looks like I'm gonna have to pick a different stream. Looks like this is gonna take me to ESPN instead of NFL Network. But what do you guys? What direction you think we'll go in? I'm thinking all like if we can get Jordan Addison, that is that's the best case scenario for me. Other than that, there's about 10 other players I'd be excited about us getting. I mean, not excited but happy with us leaving with. See if this new stream works. No problem with this streaming software. I mean, there's no problem with ESPN stream, and maybe their commentary might even be better. But they just don't have the same ticker that the ESPN that the NFL Network one does. I don't know what's going on here. Why these comments aren't popping up for me? But I see Atlantic Lions say whoever is the best on the board, which I think is going to be a cornerback. That's really possible. I mean, it could be a cornerback, could be a receiver, could be a defensive lineman. I really think it's an underrated thing, and I talked about this a couple of months ago on somebody's stream. I think this is the entertainer stream where I talked about we might go edge here. We might go edge at 25 because that just might be where the value is, and we do need that third edge player. Now, I mean, you got Thibodeau, you got Ojolari, but Ojolari has not proven he can stay healthy. I wonder why my comments aren't coming through. Hmm. Well, hopefully that fixes itself. With this team, anyone will make this team better, so I'm all for whatever. Yeah, definitely agree with that. I mean, any good player, I'll take them. I'll take any good player that's available. As long as they're a good player and they play, like I don't want to take a good player and they not play, but as long as they're a good player and they play, I'm comfortable with anybody. And Joe Schoen, we trust, and that's really how you got to do it, man. Like I used to say in Gettleman, we trust. I used to say in Reese, we trust because that's all we can do as fans is just trust. We trust that whoever's at GM isn't isn't an idiot. And mind you, people, I do have the Bills Dable here on this side. I tried to switch this out, but I do have the Bills Dable because my other one just got corrupted or something. My other background, I've been looking for my background so I could switch this out as far as like the background with the D6 on it, so I could put new people there. But as of right now, Dave was there. I might switch it out while we're still on stream though. And this is really strange. I'm not getting comments. I mean, I'm seeing it on YouTube, but I'm not seeing it in my streaming software. So this could be a problem. Is it crazy that I see Saquon getting traded tonight? Listen, if the Giants trade Saquon tonight, I would not be surprised. I don't think it will happen, but I wouldn't be surprised at the same time because Saquon obviously does not want to play under the tag. Obviously doesn't want to play under this tag. Um, a lot of teams may be interested. If the Giants can get a third round pick for him, I'd make that trade. There's also rumors that the Giants, rumors, I don't know if they're real, but rumors that the Giants are interested in Jahmyr Gibbs. So if they're looking at Jahmyr Gibbs, who is a versatile guy, a running back, a guy who can line up in the slot, a guy who can line up outside, probably a better route runner and receiver than Saquon Barkley. If they're looking at him, then yeah, Saquon could be on the outs. What's going on, Kareem? We got Jay in here. He asked the one about Saquon. Yeah, it just does seem like Joe Schoen. I mean, Joe Schoen definitely is not happy with Saquon's manager, his agent. The negotiations haven't gone well at all there. So I would not be surprised in the slightest if he got traded. Yeah, he does have to sign the tag, but if Saquon wants to go, if Saquon wants to go to somewhere, then he'll sign the tag and just get traded. Raiders fans. Maximus, I missed the B days of the draft being on a Saturday at noon and having the first two rounds. I don't know if I remember that. I think I remember it always being Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know. It might have been a long time ago. So you're sensing the Saquon trade too. Yeah, I mean it could happen. It definitely could happen. I don't expect to see it. Like I'm not expecting that the Giants want to get rid of him, but I wouldn't be surprised because Saquon came out at the end of the season and said, you know, I understand that I have to be careful when I'm negotiating because I have an injury history. Blah blah blah. I haven't played the games. I haven't played these many games, so I have to be realistic. And then it's like he was ready to take that hometown discount, and then his agent was like, "No, you deserve better." And there you go with Saquon. You know, it seems like the agent has kind of gone back and forth with Joe Schoen, and it doesn't seem like this went well. And people like to call his agent stupid. Who knows what Saquon's market was? Who knows what it was? Like if he could have become a free agent, who knows what it was? But either way, um, Joe Schoen didn't like those negotiations. They asked him literally, like, how did the negotiations go? Or are negotiations still open to get him a long term deal, which is ideal when playing under the tag. You never want a player playing under the tag. It's not good for the morale. It's not good for a leader on your team to be playing under the tag. And it's also just it clears up cap space. So it makes no sense for a guy to want to play under the tag, and it makes no sense for a team to want to play under the tag unless they're upset with the other side. Unless the team is literally saying, as Joe Schoen said, negotiations are closed. This is final. We're proceeding with that $10 million number. So we'll see what happens there. But Joe Schoen did not seem happy. Yeah. Yeah, I did see that, Maximus. I did see something about that the first two rounds used to be in one time and then the next day would be the rest of the draft or something. I was watching a Shannon Sharp interview where he was just talking about that the first two rounds were on the first day. The Panthers are poverty with that trade. So I'm really behind now. I'm really behind. I'm just seeing I'm just seeing the Chiefs out there yelling and celebrating their championship. Let's see. Panthers. So the Panthers traded the first pick? Oh, you're talking about the trade they made a while ago. Yeah, I thought you were saying that the Panthers traded out of the first pick or something. I'd be like, they didn't they trade up to go get that first pick? That would be strange. I mean, Bryce Young is. Everybody is saying that Bryce Young is going to be the number one pick. I still believe that CJ Stroud is the number one quarterback this year. I think he's the best quarterback in this class. I think the Bryce Young stuff, the all this other stuff is overthinking it. I mean, how did CJ Stroud fall? His draft stock falls because of an accuracy, because of a some kind of IQ test or something. Maximus, I never got the chance to look at his tape. I haven't been able to look at a bunch of tape uh, over these last month and a half. But I'm definitely going to be taking a look at everybody who ends up on the Giants. But I haven't gotten a look at Jamie Robinson yet. But I'm pretty sure he's not a guy that's going to go in the first round. So I might have a chance to look at him. Yeah, yeah. If you put Bryce Young in CJ's body, that'd be crazy. But I still think I just like CJ Stroud as a pure passer. I just like him better than everybody else here. I could be wrong, but Bryce Young's height, not that big of a deal. But I just don't think he's as good a quarterback as CJ Stroud. But again, the Panthers have had this pick for months now. The Panthers literally traded up to number one to make this pick, and the clock is just ticking. The clock is just ticking. No one's gotten drafted yet. Like it makes no sense. The Panthers knew who they wanted about 2 weeks ago. They knew who they wanted to draft at least 2 weeks ago, and that's being conservative. And again, this is all for TV. The fact that this first round is 10 minutes per pick, I mean, we're going to be here forever. For the Panthers, got the first overall pick. The Bears got the ninth overall pick, second round pick, first round pick next year, second round pick the year after, and DJ Moore. So yeah, Maximus, it's all TV. It's just all TV stuff. That's the only reason. That's literally the only reason why this is taking so long. Is because they just like to bloviate and get off their intros and stuff for TV before they get into this draft, and they like to stress this out as long as possible to keep the viewers watching as much as possible. Definitely, because if literally, I guarantee you, every team, no team would need more than like 4 or 5 minutes to pick any of these players in the first round. Like no team would need this. They wouldn't need 10 minutes. You see who's on the board. You have your draft board in your draft room, in your war room, and you make your pick. It's just really that simple. You might need to talk for about 2 or 3 minutes, but 10 minutes. Come on now, especially with the first overall pick. I think I'm gonna prop up my phone here because again I'm not able to see the comments here. Panthers team needs quarterback, wide receiver, edge, inside linebacker, guard. Panthers need a lot of players. Yeah, I wouldn't have. I mean, they traded up from 9, so I guess they did have to give up that many. Why are all those people in the Panthers draft room? It's a ton of people in there. Oh yeah, Kareem, that's definitely what it's for. But at the same time, they're not trading out of this first overall pick because they traded up to get the guy. So the Panthers war room is clapping right now. They're all applauding. They must have made their call. They must have to put their pick in. Yeah, the Bears gotta love that they got DJ Moore. They needed a wide receiver in the worst way. In the worst way. I mean, go ahead and just announce Bryce Young. We saw their entire draft room applauding. We saw them clapping. The pick is definitely in. So I don't know why we're still counting down. At least on my screen, I see them still counting down. Think about it, guys. This is going to be the longest, definitely the longest I've waited on stream. I mean, I guess last year or 2 years ago, we waited for the Tony thing. We waited for we traded out of that 10th pick or yeah, 10th pick, went back to 21. So last year we waited until 21. And who knows what time of the day that was when the 21st pick was made. So the pick is in. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. But I don't think the Eagles really need anybody, so it just wouldn't hurt the same. It just wouldn't hurt the same amount of way. Now, what probably would hurt the Eagles is if the Giants traded up in front of them to take somebody like somebody like uh somebody like Brian Branch before their pick at 30 something if he fell all the way down there. That would definitely hurt the Eagles. But other than that, their team is too good, man. They wouldn't even care if we traded up. Yeah, Kareem. I mean, look, the only reason they show the people on the phone, like the only reason they don't show the people on the phone is because like one, they don't want to spoil it, but also like it just shows how silly it is that they get these calls 5 minutes before the pick is in, and it's silly at that point. What's going on, Soul Brother number one? Last time I streamed was probably a good month and a week ago, month and 2 weeks ago, probably. Pick is in. Bryce Young is definitely going to be the pick. I'm behind you all, but Bryce Young is definitely he's the pick. It's just hilarious that like the Panthers fans are waiting to see who the pick is, and they're going to celebrate like they wanted that particular quarterback. Like you either wanted Bryce Young or you wanted CJ Stroud or you wanted both, but it's not like I doubt that they had like a serious interest in one or the other. What's up with this new background they got going on? Okay, that's not a background. They're just taking a picture first, and then he's going to the stage. I thought that background with all of the team names was the new stage, And this is really dramatic. Here they go, like I said, with the TV production. Here they go with the TV production. Exactly. Like if you watch CJ Stroud play football, he doesn't look like a dumb player at all. That aptitude test means nothing to me. Number two pick is in. Again, you're a little bit ahead of me, which is fine. I don't care about the draft being spoiled. But interested to see what that is. They didn't trade back, so they got to be taking a quarterback. If the number two pick is in and they didn't trade back, it's got to be CJ Stroud. And if it's not CJ Stroud, that's criminal. It's criminal. Is Jalen Hurts the best Alabama quarterback that's come out in like the last 20 something years? You gotta be. And he didn't even come out of Bama, to be honest. Like, I mean, he didn't come out of Alabama. Came out of Oklahoma, went to Alabama. But let's see, Alabama QBs. Bryce Young's dad has the exact same voice as him. That's hilarious. What's going on, Lucas? Definitely doing well. Hopefully, you're doing good too. Let's see. Something just popped into my head. I'm just looking to just see which quarterbacks out of Bama have been the best. Of course, you got Joe Namath. Joe Namath, Ken Stabler, Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones. Yeah, yeah. So Bama has not really produced a bunch of like elite quarterbacks, but at the same time, I mean, what one school has produced just a bunch of quarterbacks? So, and again, I wish I could see this in my streaming software, but for some reason the comments aren't showing up. And why are they showing Steph Curry highlights? Bryce Young is not Steph Curry. ESPN was legit showing Steph Curry highlights to say that that's what Bryce Young was. Bryce Young apparently is the Steph Curry of football. Apparently, Giants have to load up a top five defense with the first three picks to stop the run. QB hits, create turnovers, give offense more opportunities, stop juggernaut offenses. The thing is, I don't know. I don't even know if you can stop juggernaut offenses this year. You definitely want to be able to stop the run, but I think we did that. First off, getting back Nick Williams and getting back DJ Davison, who we drafted last year, who were both doing good jobs against the run. And then you add in Nacho, and then you add in Ashawn Robinson. I think you got better against the run. And then, of course, if you add somebody else, second, third round, I think you're good against the run. And then you also added Bobby Okereke. I think that's what this offseason was about. Now, I just don't think you're shutting down these offenses. Now, you do need a second corner, and that's very possible you could do that. But I don't think that we should load up on defense and ignore that offense because we've seen it doesn't matter how many chances the offense gets. If they're not explosive, if they're not effective, it just won't matter how many times we get turnovers, how many times we stop anybody. But then again, like I said, I just don't think that these offenses these days are just going to be just shut down. Exactly, Kareem. The best way to stop an offense like the Eagles is to keep them off the field, run the ball, or just put up more points than them. Houston Texans. No one spoiled the pick for me yet. Got to be CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is going to Houston. Love to see it, man. I think CJ Stroud, like I said, I think he's going to be the best quarterback out of this draft. Time will tell. But from what I saw on tape, CJ Stroud was my QB1. Full name Cole Ridge Bernard Stroud the fourth, out of Rancho Cucamonga, California. Didn't know he was from Cali. You got a good 5, 6 minutes on me. Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely watching this on a stream. So I did not think that you were that far ahead, though. So he just hugged the commissioner right now. He is hugging him for a long time. It seems like it's more like a minute, 2 minutes. I can deal with that. If not, I'll find another stream. But it seems like it's more like 2 minutes. Okay, you said it just hit 3 minutes on the clock right now. Let's see. We'll see whenever this clock shows up and says 3 minutes is when I'll know how far back I am. Okay, so I'm at 4 minutes 44 seconds. So I probably am at about 3 minutes behind. 2 minute, 2.5 minutes behind, 3 minutes behind. Probably at 2.5 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to get much quicker than that. Let's see if I can find some kind of trial or something. Because again, like I wish that I could just simply use my antenna, put on ABC, but for some reason it refuses to work. You said Houston traded back to number three. Let's see. I think I'm going to sign up for a trial on one of these sites to try to. That's interesting. They traded up for. How far is Houston's pick? What didn't they trade up from like 8 or 10 or something? I wouldn't have traded up for a defensive player after I just took a quarterback. I think you need to take. I think you should have stayed where you were and took some kind of a wide receiver, or traded back and took Dalton Kincaid or something like that. But I know they didn't. I hope they're not taking a defensive player. This has to be like an offensive lineman, which I think is too far. I don't know why they would trade up for this. Now they're interviewing Kimberly Stroud. Let's see. See if I can get. All right, now I got to put in my. Yeah, I wonder who Houston is going to take there. You probably have already seen it, but okay, let's see if I can get Fubu. It's not Fubu, Fubo. If I can get Fubo to work, let's see. NFL draft, NFL draft. I'll throw on NFL Network. Okay, we're gonna go NFL work. Hmm. They refuse to cast this. Hopefully, Fubo works soon, or else I'm gonna have to watch this some other kind of way. The pick is in. Will Anderson. I mean, this pick makes no sense to me because I would think that you will want to bolster the offense. Now, the offensive talent isn't there at that pick, but I mean, why are you trading up for Will Anderson? I mean, I guess they think he's that good, and he is a good player, but it's just at the same time, I kind of don't agree with that. I didn't think they have to be that aggressive out of the gates. I just don't think so. Now I'm trying to get so allows me to Fubo apparently allows me to watch all of these things on my computer, but it's not letting me cast it, and now my TV is going haywire. Going completely haywire. For now, I'll just watch this on my TV. So Will Anderson is there. They're comparing him to Khalil Mack. Instinctive power slash torque. Showing some footage of him. Will Anderson is definitely a beast. I just wouldn't have traded up from where the Texans were to do it. I just fell in love with just giving whatever quarterback they took a weapon or an offensive lineman to protect them. But it's not like Will Anderson is going to be a bad player. I'd take Will Anderson just because of position, but Jalen Carter I think is the best player in this draft. But again, the off the field stuff people don't like. I cannot believe the Cardinals found somebody to trade up to three. And I just got spoiled by the group chat I'm in. Looks like the Colts made their pick, or someone's assuming that they made their pick. Yeah, I think the Colts are taking Richardson. They need a quarterback. Now he's not going to be ready year one, but they need a quarterback. So right now I'm having some issues with my TV. and I'm also having issues not seeing the comments on stream. So I think I'm gonna back out of the stream, back out of the TV. I'm not going to end the stream. You're just gonna see this background, and I'll jump right back in. And hopefully, this fixes it. All right. Still can't see the comments, but it was worth a shot. Got a bunch of stuff popping on my screen, but comments aren't working still. That's fine. Still looking at my phone, but now I'm going to try to see if Fubo will work over here. NFL handles trades mid draft better than the NBA, where trades aren't official. Yeah, the NBA is really strange in that aspect, where like they make them they make them draft the player and then trade the players after they draft them. I definitely always thought that was weird too. All right, finally might get this thing on my TV. Pick is in. Yeah, you got to think. The one guy I hope is there at 25 is Jordan Addison. That's the player I've been wanting for months. That's the guy I've been wanting there for months. All right, Fubo is popping up on my TV. Hopefully, it lets me pull this up. Lets me just pull this stream up, and we can stop the shenanigans. All right, Anthony Richardson is the pick. Definitely thought that this would be the pick. I don't think it's a bad pick, Maximus. I don't think it's a bad pick at all. Now they have to have a plan for sitting him for a year, but maybe you don't sit him for a year. Maybe it's like a Jalen Hurts. Maybe you have him mostly run his first year. The dude can run with the best of them. I mean, the dude is built to run. He's not gonna, he's not gonna fold under that pressure of physically. So maybe you run him more for maybe you run him more as a rookie, and next year you take the training wheels off. All depends on what their plan is. They compared him to taller than George Kittle, heavier than Hassan Reddick, jumps higher than Devontae Adams. Anthony Richardson is an athletic freak, and it makes perfect sense to me why he went this high. Because again, if you have a plan for him, then he can make some stuff happen. Yeah, I mean, he's had some wildly inaccurate moments, but he's definitely not Malik Willis as far as not being polished at all. He's just going to have to continue to play the position and get more comfortable playing the position at a high level. But again, if he can run and he can make plays that way, and then he can let the rest of his game start to mature, he's got all the tools and talent to be a good player. So I understand why they took him here. And then they just mentioned that too. That's a great point. Shane Steichen from the Eagles is there for the Colts. So he just did this with Jalen Hurts. He had him for a year, be a guy that missed a bunch of passes, that wasn't accurate. The next year, Jalen Hurts came out and he was better, but he still wasn't anything to write home about. Then year three, he exploded. So we'll see what they do. Maximus, the only thing about Drew Sanders is that we don't really need another linebacker in the first round, in my opinion, just because Wink rarely uses two linebackers. So you're essentially taking a guy in round one that's going to play like 30% of the snaps. And you just invested all that money in Okereke. So tough. But hopefully Anthony Richardson can go and be successful there. But yeah, I really like A.T. Perry. I really like A.T. Perry. If he can be a giant, if we don't get Jordan Addison, if we can get A.T. Perry, I'd be really happy. Says you forget that they signed him, yeah. They're still going over the Anthony Richardson thing. They got his little brother there, and he looks pretty much exactly like him. That's hilarious. I have no idea what's going to happen with Jalen Carter. It's like he could go here, or Jalen Carter could fall out of the first round. It's like impossible to figure that out. Where did the Cardinals trade down to like eight? And we're gonna be here for a while. Mingo, I don't think Mingo's gonna go in the first round. Hopefully he doesn't. I mean, not to the Giants at least. But I mean, if Mingo, I could see Mingo going at the end of the second round, middle of the second round. I definitely don't see the smoke where people were saying that Mingo is a possible pick for the Giants at 25. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think he's worth that pick at all. I would take Hyatt over him. I'd take Johnston over him. I'd take the other three that everybody has over him: Flowers, Addison, uh, JSN. I'd take all of those players over him. And I probably would take A.T. Perry over Mingo. Cardinals traded. Wonder what the Cardinals will do with their pick. Maybe they'll take a wide receiver or something. You said you saw an article about. Yeah, there's no way that Will Anderson was going to be there at 25. Pick is in for the Seahawks. Pick is in. Still got all the cornerbacks on the board. I mean, this is kind of high. They might take a cornerback, but for now, pick is in. I mean, if I'm the Seahawks, I would take Jalen Carter here. They're not taking a quarterback. there's no point in taking Will Levis or anything right there. You just signed Geno. So I would take Jalen Carter here if I'm the Seahawks. But of course, we're on commercial break while the pick is in. Like I definitely understand the production part of the draft. Like they got to put on a good production. It has to look good. It has to be entertaining from that standpoint. But at the same time, I mean, really, we're gonna have to wait 3 4 hours, almost the length of a whole football game before we get to the Giants pick. Or we guys, we won a lot of games. We didn't win a lot of games, but we won a lot of games at the same time because we're picking at 25. It's 8:49 now. The draft has supposedly been on for an hour almost, and there's only been 4 picks. They should just have the Super Bowl winner host the draft. Yeah, the only thing is they start planning for the draft like a year before everything. So like it's kind of hard for them to do it at such short notice. Devon Witherspoon, yeah, that's a really good pick. Yeah, that's definitely a good that's definitely a good pick. Him across from what they got there now is gonna be real good. Witherspoon was definitely the best corner in this draft. Gonzalez to me is second, but definitely a good pick. Exactly. I haven't seen any article on what the Cardinals got back in that trade either. Cardinals trade down. Let's check Twitter. All right. Let's see if I can find out any sort of rumors about what the Cardinals got back. I'm thinking that they probably don't you think they got DeAndre Hopkins? But I haven't seen any like announcement on that. It says that the Cardinals got the 12th pick overall, a second round pick this year, the 33rd pick overall. It says they got a first round pick the year after. So they got a first round pick next year, this year's first round pick, which is just swapping picks. That doesn't really matter. But besides swapping picks, it looks like they just got a two next year, a one next year, a one the year, a two next year, a one the year after, and a third the year after. So maybe there's DeAndre Hopkins in there too, but I wouldn't have made that trade. I mean, but at the same time, I guess they didn't want any of those players at the top of the draft. Man, Will Anderson better be the next JJ Watt. I'd do that trade, but I don't know. I mean, Hopkins is getting old and he's injury prone. I don't know. All right, we are at the sixth pick, an hour in. So do the math. We got five. We got to do this five more times. So got to think they got a man. It's gonna be like 11:30 when we make our pick. That is no fun. I'm telling you guys, next year, if the Giants are picking in the late 20s, hopefully we are, or the 30s. Listen, if next year that happens, guys, I'm starting my stream at like 10 o'clock. Because this is definitely the first time I've streamed and the Giants weren't picking at like 12 or 10 or 15 or something in the top five. I think I streamed where Andrew Thomas got drafted. I think so. Let's see. I did the Tony draft. I did. I didn't do the Daniel Jones draft, but I'm pretty sure I did the Andrew Thomas draft. So let's see. Did last year. That was Thibodeau. It's not showing me everything, but I'm pretty sure I did the Andrew Thomas draft. And if I did, then that was the first draft that I did. Yeah. So I did do the Andrew Thomas draft. But again, this is double, double the most of the times we make our picks. You said Arizona working. Yeah, I mean they got a first next year, a second the year after, and a third. It's so confusing. I'm trying to remember it. They got a second next year, a first the year after, and a third the year after. So first, second, and a third pretty much to trade back 10 spots in the first round. You said they moved up to six, so I guess they use one of those first round picks they got. So that's gone. Wonder who they'll take. Maybe it's Jalen Carter. Maybe it's Christian Gonzalez. Let's see. So the Lions have traded that pick to the Cardinals. Hopefully, I'm still not behind, but it's impossible. I would think it'd be wide receiver, but I mean, at the same time, they could take Tyree Wilson. They could take Jalen Carter. I think it's either Tyree Wilson or Jalen Carter. And then Buddha, I mean, would you take Brian Branch at six, a safety at six? Cardinal select Paris Johnson. I mean, I guess so. I guess they could use it. I wasn't expecting that though. What's going on, colleges? I haven't seen colleges make you dumber in a while. I think the last time, and that's not even saying that been missing my streams. I just haven't streamed much. I think the last time I saw I think the last time I saw you in the chat was probably during the season. Yeah, probably the playoffs. But I've only probably streamed like 3 or 4 times since then. So I mean, it's not a bad pick. I mean, anytime you have a tackle that you feel that can start, I mean, you take them. You take them when you need to take them. But I just wasn't expecting it. Yeah, that roster is not that good. The roster is not that good at all. And they're paying Kyler a bunch of money. He's got to elevate that roster pretty much. Let's see. Cardinals. Take a look at the depth chart just for kicks. Of course, they don't have a depth chart. Let me go to our lags. Okay. Let's see what our last has the Cardinals depth chart looking like. Again, I don't know why they're not allowing me to look at this stream, but I mean, look at the chat, but I got to roll with it. So, DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver, he's gone. At wide receiver, they have nothing. They got Rondell Moore in the slot, but other than that, they got Marquise Brown. I mean, I guess so. Um, Zach Pascal. Nothing special. Nothing special at wide receiver. Left tackle, they got DJ Humphreys. Right tackle, they got Kelvin Beachum. So I guess they're going to plug in Paris Johnson at left tackle. Um, let's see what else is here. Wow. So apparently, Paris Johnson's dad went to the Cardinals too. So that's cool. Uh, yeah, that wide receiver room is horrible. Because once DeAndre Hopkins leaves, I mean, you got Marquise Brown, which I guess is probably a top 20 wide receiver, probably top 18 at his best, better than that, but nothing really special there. Defensive end, they got Jonathan Ledbetter. Man, Kaiser White at linebacker, Cam Thomas, Zaven Collins. Not a lot of good players. They got Isaiah Simmons playing nickelback now. Buda Baker. I mean, they got some good players in some spots, but they definitely need to continue to build out their roster. All right, they're just still wasting time for now. 3 minutes left on the clock for the Raiders. Man, the Raiders, what could they use? Probably set at wide receiver. They got Devontae Adams. They got Hunter Renfro. The Raiders are definitely known for just taking players they have no business taking. They usually just take the most athletic players. At least Al Davis did, but we'll see. what they do here. The Cardinals got the 12th overall pick, 23rd. I already went over the pick. I keep trying to read these picks all. I already went over it. They showed it on the screen. Can we read the Raiders pick, please? This draft is moving so slow, it almost makes me want to do a whole mock draft. on it almost makes me want to do a whole mock draft on uh on PFN. Said quarterback or cornerback. They say they think cornerback or quarterback is a spot the Raiders could go. I mean, I would take a corner right there if I was the Raiders. I'd take Christian Gonzalez right there at 7. That's the best value. Tyree Wilson. That's a solid pick. That's a solid pick for them. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Tyree Wilson, but apparently everybody else is. So Maximus doesn't agree either. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of Tyree Wilson, but again, I mean, they had to throw somebody up there as a second edge. It's it just is what it is there. But I wish him the best. I hope he succeeds there. Definitely. Out of Texas Tech. 2022 Maximus Tyree Wilson had exactly. That's my point. Like Tyree Wilson is a guy that I think probably could go in the teens, but top 10, I just don't see it. And he just picked up Roger Goodell. Tyree Wilson this year had 7 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, 36 total tackles. So he played this year. Said he played for 4 head coaches in college though. Let's see. Looking at some of the stuff they're showing on him, I mean, he may have. Let's see what happened 2021. Game logs. He played 13 games 2021. He played 10 games 2022. So maybe he got hurt there. 2020, he played 7 games. 2019, played 5 games. So I'm not sure if when he got hurt, Tyree Wilson hurt. Let's see when he got hurt. Oh, you're right. He did break his foot. He did break his foot this season, but he played he just wasn't hurt all year. He played 12 games this year, 13 games this year. So he broke his foot, got surgery in November, so that's a good amount of ways through the college season. I'm literally right now as I'm on stream, like working out the draft of what happened so far in the draft and doing a mock draft on like what's gonna happen next. Just for kicks. All right. So the last time I tried to run this trade through, the Cardinals literally didn't accept it, which is funny because they accepted it in real life. All right, so 3, 12. They traded like next year's first, uh, this year's 12, and then second, and then third, and they declined it again. All right, so I'll do it the other way. So the Cardinals are proposing this trade to trade back to 12. Let's just do it straight up. Of course, they're going to accept that. I'm just going to throw this up just for kicks, guys. I'm just going to throw this up for kicks. Because if they want to take forever, then I'm going to fast forward in my dreams. All right. So I'm recreating the draft so far. Recreating it so far. So Texans just traded up. They're going to take Will Anderson. So Will Anderson got taken there. The next pick was Anthony Richardson. Then the Seahawks took Devon Witherspoon. I still don't know if his name is Devon or Devon. Exactly, man. We're over an hour and we're at the eighth pick. So we got to do this 3 more times now. Hopefully these new picks they start coming in quicker. Lions they traded with the Cardinals. Lions, Cardinals. 6, 12. They'll accept that 100% of the time. Boom. Okay. So Cardinals took Paris Johnson there. The Raiders just took Tyree Wilson. So the Falcons pick is in. Really wish I could see my chat in the software. Falcons pick is in. The eighth pick. Falcons took Bijan Robinson. Oh boy. I heard rumors about this, but it's like, why are you taking Bijan Robinson at 8? He's a top 10 player. Don't get it wrong. Bijan Robinson is a top 3 player in this draft, if not a top 2 player. But to take a running back at 8 when you got all these needs, man. But good pick. I think it's not a good pick, but it's a good player. So let's throw him on the skillet. All right. So I'm gonna talk through this stuff and I'm gonna look at the board and I'm just gonna start talking about what I would do if I were the Chicago Bears coming up. Listen, if I'm glad he's not in Philly. I'm glad he's not in Philly. And I do think they would have taken him. I do think they would have at least considered taking him, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, a dominant running game is a dominant running game. And the Eagles traded up one pick in front of the Bears. The Eagles literally swap picks with the Bears just right now. The Eagles traded up with the Bears. Okay. Proposed trade. Let's see. Eagles. I got to do Bears. They're proposing it to the Eagles. Next. 9, 10. I wonder what the Eagles gave the Bears to trade up to get to number 9. Are they going to take Brian Branch? Are they going to take who's behind? Who's with the Titans? Who's there? And where would the Titans go there? Where would the Titans go? The Titans offensive tackle, offensive center, wide receiver, guard, edge. So the Titans could possibly take Miles Murphy, Nolan Smith, or Darnell Wright, Broderick Jones. I mean, I wonder what made the Eagles feel like they needed to trade up in front of another team trading up. Yeah, they probably are taking Jalen Carter. That's probably what. That's probably it. Is a lot of teams probably thought like, let's trade up to get Jalen Carter in front of the Eagles because we don't need the Eagles getting Jalen Carter. But oh man, the Eagles got Jalen Carter. They're definitely going to take Jalen Carter. Yeah, the that's pretty much the pick. I'm already seeing it on Twitter. Jalen Carter is going to go to the Eagles, and that is just not fair. That is just not fair, guys. It's got to be Jalen Carter. I mean, and like I said, I do see leaks. Yeah, they took Jalen Carter. I really wish that the Falcons would have just taken the Georgia player and took Jalen Carter, but fell right into the Eagles' laps, man. Fell right into their laps. Like they always just sit there and the players just fall right into their laps. So before I even see what they do, I'm just gonna hit resume draft, and I'm gonna say Eagles take Jalen Carter because why wouldn't they? Man, man. Okay, 10th overall pick. The Bears really got out of the way so they could. That doesn't sit well with me. Why did the Bears take Jalen Carter? Why couldn't you guys take him? I wonder what the Eagles gave up for that. Like the Bears could use Jalen Carter. Why didn't they take him? So the Bears are probably going to take an offensive tackle. I do wonder what the Eagles did, though, what they gave up. They got DJ Moore, so they might not go wide receiver this high, but they could go wide receiver. They could also go offensive tackle. They give up a fourth rounder to move up to take Jalen Carter. Wow. Wow. That is that is something else, man. A fourth rounder to go up to get Jalen Carter. I mean, for them to trade up to that pick, that means that the Bears have multiple suitors. And that means that they listened to the Eagles pick and took that fourth rounder over somebody else's third because they didn't want to move back too far. I think the Bears probably take Peter Skoronsky. Yeah, we all hate him. We all hate him. While we see Jason Kelsey celebrate. Like, this is just disgusting, man. Jason Kelsey just drunk that beer in less than half of a second. Like, there's no way that Jalen Carter should be in Philadelphia, man. This dude's going to terrorize us for the next 15 years, 13 years, however long. Like, we go straight from wow. Yeah, we go straight from Fletcher Cox, then you add in Javon Hargrave, then Hargrave leaves, and then you get Jalen Carter. Yeah, I do hate the Falcons for that because they should have taken Jalen Carter over a running back, man. Like Eagles got the best player in the draft. You don't force O line. I mean, there's not a player there that's like, oh, like they took Jalen Carter, so now we're gonna take John Michael Smith, and that's gonna help. Is there's not a player there. You got to take the best player. All right, so that's that. The Bears pick is in. I mean, I'm ready to see what the Bears did. I'm assuming that the Bears took Peter Skoronsky or one of these tackles here. It's possible they could have took they could have taken a wide receiver too, or even Dalton Kincaid. And then the whole thing, like my whole opinion on Michael Mayer, the tight end that can do it all. I just he's a first round prospect at tight end, but I just don't see like they're like he can be Jason Witten. Like, yeah, you definitely sign up for that, but at the same time, like Jason Witten, you're not looking for Jason Witten anymore. Like, I don't need a tight end that's going to be doing a bunch of blocking in the first round. I want a guy to catch a bunch of passes, be athletic, but that's just me. But Kincaid, I think, can do that. So I'd consider Kincaid if I'm looking for a weapon in the first round. Not the Giants because we got Darren Waller, but I consider him on another team. The Bears have to help out. They have to continue to help out their quarterback. So whether that's getting somebody to protect him or getting somebody to catch some passes for him, they cannot afford to not help out their quarterback because they've had him in a horrible situation so far. And he's had flashes of looking really good. So they got to help him out. Yeah, I mean, listen, you let Jalen Carter fall that far. I mean, it's only natural that that happens. Now, one thing I'm happy about, one thing I'm really happy about is that we're at pick 10, and I'm going to cross my fingers. We're at pick 10, and so far, one cornerback is gone. Please don't jinx it here. Please don't. Please, hopefully, I didn't jinx it here. But we're at pick 10, and one cornerback is gone so far. So I was expecting two corners to go, but we're at pick 10, and only one corner has gone so far. So let's keep it that way. Let's keep this flow of cornerbacks going slow because those are some of the best players in this draft. And if one of those guys out of these top 4 or 5 guys can be there, I'm happy with that pick. I'm happy with us picking any of the top 6 corners. And as far as who I think the top 6 corners are, you got Witherspoon, who already went. You got Gonzalez. You got Joey Porter, and this isn't in order because I don't think Joey Porter's the third best. You got Deontay Banks, you got Emmanuel Forbes, and that's 5, and then I think you got Cam Smith. So I'd be happy with any of those players at 25, but if we can get a top 4, I really would want that. Let's see what PFN thinks. Ringo, I wouldn't be mad at either, even though I think he has some more work to do than the rest of them, but I would not be mad at the Ringo pick. Bears pick is in. Bears traded back. Ryan Poles sitting there. Darnell Wright. Yeah. Yeah, they wanted the pure tackle. They wanted the pure tackle. People don't think that Peter Skoronski can play tackle for some reason. They just don't believe it. But Darnell Wright, they feel like is the pure tackle. He's the guy that's big, 6'5", 333. So that's where they decided to go, I guess. I don't think he's the better player, but maybe you do need a guy that's that size to play tackle instead of Skoronski. They say he's got the short arms. And like I said, I mean, I wouldn't force taking an offensive lineman at 25. I'm taking the best player that's there because there's no offensive lineman that's going to be there or that's in this draft really that like puts the fear into defensive lines. Quincy, I think we're targeting the same people that whoever we were targeting before this draft. I don't think anything has changed. I think it's very possible that the Giants trade up to get a guy like Deontay Banks or to get a guy like Jordan Addison, and I think we could trade up to the teams to do that. But we'll see. What's up, Quincy? Yeah, we'll see what they do, but I think it's very possible they trade up, but I think the guys that they're targeting, the two guys that they want to be there, are Jordan Addison and Deontay Banks. I think they like those two players. Of course, if Christian Gonzalez for some reason gets there, he's up there. But I think those are the two players they want. And I do have Deontay Banks rated higher than Joey Porter. Yeah, I really would want them to trade up to like 15 or 16 to get whichever player they really want, especially if you get to 13 and you got two corners gone. But like I said, we're going to keep them fingers crossed because maybe the Giants trade up. We can get a guy like Christian Gonzalez, who I think is a monster. I think Christian Gonzalez is a really good player. So think we should trade up for Joey Porter Jr. or Jordan Addison. Yeah, I think if they trade up, it's definitely for one of those corners or Jordan Addison. Problem with the server. Yeah, I think it's very possible that they trade up. I'm not. It's not like I'm guaranteeing they'll trade up, but I do think it's very possible. Just like I think it's possible that they trade Saquon Barkley, and if they do trade up, they probably do. Not probably, but if they do trade up, there's a chance that they factor in Saquon Barkley to whatever trade they make. Like if a team has like if you're what let's see who's around here. If you're the Packers and you want not Jordan Addison, but if you want Jordan Love to have a good running game, which you already kind of have, so you don't need that. But if you're Jets have a running back too. The Patriots, they kind of got them a stable, but they're not really a Saquon Barkley kind of team. That's tough. Yeah, I don't know which one of these teams will want Saquon, but you guys get what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in this draft Saquon got moved, but I just still at the same time I don't expect that to happen. All right, let's look back at this chat. If we miss out on our targets, should we trade back and target O line? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. If you think that Addison, Flowers, um, all of these guys that you think are possible picks at 25, if you think that they're all gone and you don't want to take a guy like Elijah Cansey or a guy like Nolan Smith or a guy like Brian Branch, if you just don't want those players and you think that you really wanted to get that wide receiver or corner and they're gone, then yeah, I would entertain trading back, but it just all depends on who will want to trade up. And I agree, Luke. I really want to go wide receiver, but if those top three guys are off the board, Flowers, and this isn't in order, Flowers, Addison, and JSN, if they're off the board, I don't want to go wide receiver at 25 because I just don't think any of them are worth that pick unless it's height and you have a specific plan for them. So you got Gonzalez on the board, you got Broderick Jones on the board, you got Miles Murphy there, Peter Skoronsky, Nolan Smith, Brian Branch. Listen, if Peter Skoronsky slides, I'd take him in a Giants uniform. I would put him right there at one of the guard spots and not think twice about it. Hiatus Slayton 2.0. I think I mean, that's very possible. But Jalen Hyatt is so fast that, first of all, he's much faster than Darius Slayton, and Darius Slayton is already fast. But Hyatt is just ridiculously fast. So if for some reason they take Hyatt, it's because they want him to be running the entire length of the field across, on those crosser routes and just using his speed. Titans took Skoronsky, Peter Skoronsky. Makes sense. Makes sense. They needed that help there, and again, like I said, I was starting to say if they don't appreciate Skoronsky, I would definitely appreciate Skoronsky as a Giant. His grandfather played on Lombardi's 5 championship Packers teams. Wow, Skoronsky is football royalty. Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. I mean, he's getting underappreciated. He's what the Let me use it. He's the third tackle off the board. I think you could argue that Paris Johnson could be the first tackle off the board, but the other guys, no, they're not better prospects than Skoronsky in my opinion. And I think he'll play tackle there. Bob Skoronsky. That is hilarious to just think about that. Your grandfather was playing football for Vince Lombardi a million years ago. Quincy, the thing is, I think you take a linebacker maybe the fourth round, maybe the third round. But as far as first round, I don't think that there's a player that you need to take there in the first round at linebacker because again, as I mentioned earlier on in the stream, your second linebacker is only going to be playing like 30% of the snaps. So you just signed Okereke. Uh, yeah, you spelled it right. You just signed him. So you're not going to get a guy in the first round to play, you know, 30% of the snaps. I would love to take Jack Campbell, but I just don't think there's a spot for him after we took Okereke. I just don't see it. Um, can I see the Lions taking Joey Porter? I would love for them to take Joey Porter and push Christian Gonzalez down. I'd love that. I'd absolutely love that because right now we're looking at Lions need a D tackle, defensive end. Let's see what they do. Their pick is in quick. Jameer Gibbs. These teams, the Lions do not need any offensive help. The Lions don't need any offensive help. They don't need any offensive help at all. The Lions don't need any offensive help. Their defense is atrocious. It's literally like that's their problem. Like they missed their opportunity to vastly improve their defense. That is ridiculous. I mean, listen, Jameer Gibbs is going to make a lot of plays for them, but it's like you're adding on to a strength that's not going to. It's not like Jared Goff is going to all of a sudden turn into Patrick Mahomes because you added Jameer Gibbs. It's just like you didn't need this, and then on top of that, you need defense in the worst way. You could have gone Christian Gonzalez. You could have gone Joey Porter. You could have gone Nolan Smith. You could have gone Deontay Banks. You could have gone Foskey. You could have gone Van Ness. You could have gone in a bunch of different ways. But because two running backs got drafted in the top 15 guys, they're pushing all those players down to us. They're pushing all of those players down to us. They really passed on Christian Gonzalez to take a running back. Yeah, we need to trade up for Christian Gonzalez at this point. I really do want to trade up for Christian Gonzalez. We really need to trade up for Christian Gonzalez at this point because he's not being appreciated, and I appreciate him. Like I appreciate Christian Gonzalez. Let's trade up for him. They said they're scared to take a corner after Okuda. They got to keep They got to keep shooting. They got to keep shooting because listen, this is ridiculous. You cannot pass on the opportunity to take some of the best players in the draft. These corners, in my opinion, are like top 10 players in this entire draft. And yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs may be a better player than them, maybe, but he's it's not it, man. That's just not the way you do it. When you need that much help on defense and your offense is like already a fire, it's like explosive. You got to think they probably don't do this if Jameson Williams isn't getting traded. Not traded, but suspended. They still got this mayhem dude like 15 years later on the All State commercial or whatever commercial. Pretty surprised, not a wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm surprised, but at the same time, it doesn't shock me because it's like it happens all the time. There's been a bunch of drafts that I've watched where I thought that there was going to be a wide receiver or two gone in the top 15 picks or the top 14 picks, and there just hasn't been anybody in there. And then, like, they go on like 25, 27, 28. Howie Roseman has never drafted a running back, cornerback, tight end, or safety in the first round. So they got another pick coming at 18. Yeah, they'll probably take a cornerback at 18, but I just almost feel like maybe Jahmyr Gibbs was going to go to the Patriots, but it's just like I would have not done that. I wouldn't have done it. So with the Packers, you got to think, maybe you draft a wide receiver because there's no one on their team that can play wide receiver at an NFL level, in my opinion. So hopefully it's JSN. Hopefully it's JSN. Jordan Addison just seems like a Packer, but I hope that he's not a Packer. Lucas Van. Oh, this is happening. It's happening. It's happening, guys. It's happening. It's happening. Only one corner has gone off the board. No wide receivers have gone off the board. No wide receivers have gone off the board, guys. This is ridiculous. It's crazy. Like, who would have thunk it? And now they got the Jonas brothers. Aren't they Giants fans? This is just something else, man. I mean, the draft could not go any more special than this. Why are they taking why are they taking Lucas Van Ness when they don't have any wide receivers on their team? That is ridiculous, man. All right, let's throw Van Ness there. Can't see the chat because I'm tweeting, but I'm gonna jump back into the chat. All right. Besides Gonzalez, what corners do I like best? My next corner after Gonzalez would be it'd be Deontay Banks, then Joey Porter, then Emmanuel Forbes, and that's what I'm looking at right now. And you got to think one of those three are going to be there. You got to think one of those three are going to be there the way that this board is playing out right now. You said the Lions got 5 in the first 40. Yeah, I mean the Lions will definitely have the opportunity to add a corner, but it's just like, I mean, I guess. I mean, Jamison Williams is going to get suspended, so they're losing a weapon there. But he barely played for them last year. Yeah, one of those guys, one of those two have to be there. I mean, you got, like you said, a dozen picks. You got 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Only so many players can go there. Now, yeah, all of those guys can go for both positions. I got 3 or 4 guys for cornerback and wide receiver, 3 guys each that can go. And that's very possible that they all could go. But at the same time, it's not. So one of those guys got to be there. One of those guys got to be there. I mean, I would be thinking that the Giants would trade up if they feel like they can get their guy. I mean, about 3 more picks, you can trade up. They moved from 17 to 14 for a fourth rounder. So, like, these picks are selling at a discount. I guarantee you that if I try to trade these picks, that they won't even accept this trade. So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna type in Patriots to trade with the Steelers because the Steelers would not accept this trade. I mean, the Patriots would not accept this trade if I did the actual compensation. Give me a fourth rounder and we'll swap picks. It was declined, of course. Oh man, I'm just gonna just have to do a straight up trade then. I'm just gonna have to tell them to swap picks. Just swap picks. Steelers are taking Joey Porter. Oh, Joey Porter Jr. has got to be the sickest man in America right here. If I'm Joey Porter, I'm like, they're trading up to get me. My dad played there, and they took Broderick Jones. that is that is crazy. That is crazy. If I'm Joey Porter, I would have really thought that they were trading up to take me. There is no way that Christian Gonzalez is about to make it. It has made it this far. Yeah, Bijan to the Falcons and Jameer Gibbs to the Lions have pushed these players back, and then the run on offensive tackles is like ridiculous. I was thinking that there would be a bunch of offensive tackles that we could take, or not that we could take, but that will be there for our pick at 25 that we wouldn't need. But they're taking all these offensive tackles as if they're a lot better than what they are. Still got the Jonas Brothers up there doing their Jonas Brothers interview. I cannot believe the way that this draft is going. We're at 15. We're at 15, and none of this, like, we're really sitting here at 15. And only one corner has gone off the board. And I'm not even going to mention it. I'm not even going to put that energy out there. But let's go Jets. Let's take let's for the Jets. Let's take Miles Murphy or Nolan Smith. Let's get one of those guys or Jack Campbell. Even Dalton Kincaid or something like that. Hey, don't even listen, Quincy. Don't even mention it. Don't even mention it. Don't even mention it. Gonzalez is falling. He's falling to 25. He's falling to 25. So the Jets got to keep their first round pick. The Jets got a first round pick and Aaron Rodgers and gave up a city. That's a good trade. Yeah, there's no way the Jets are taking a wide receiver. It doesn't even have cornerback as a need for them. It's just crazy that people are really Jets fans, man. That is just crazy to me. I just couldn't imagine like what everyday life is like being a Jets fan. Like, and this isn't no hate to Jets fans. Like, I mean, you root for your team, but it's just so strange to me. Like, why not be a Giants fan? Yeah, you got to think this is a run on offensive lineman, but it's like, who are they taking? Anton Harrison, Dewan Jones? Like, who are they taking there that's worth that pick? I mean, who are they taking here that's worth, I just don't see it. If they take Anton Harrison or Dewan Jones, those have to be huge risks. And Dewan Jones is another big offensive tackle like Mekhi Becton. So they probably don't want to go down that road again. Dewan Jones is 6'8", 374, just pretty much similar to Becton. Yeah, I do think they're trading it. You said please let Washington take Levis. That would be amazing. That'd be beautiful. That'd be beautiful. Just keep pushing all these players that we actually want down the board. At that point, like we're gonna get to a point where we're gonna be 5, 6 picks away, and we're gonna have 6 players. You get what I'm saying? We're gonna get to a point where we have more players that we really, really want as Giants fans on the board than there are picks ahead of our pick. The NFL has got this down to a science with this schedule release. I mean, with the entire NFL calendar, being honest with you, like the Super Bowl is in February, the Combine's right after that, and I think in February, at the end of February maybe, or March. You got the Senior Bowl, the Combine, you got all that, and then after that, you got your pro days, and you got free agency in March, right? You got free agency in March. Then you got the draft in April. Then you got the schedule release in May, and then you got your little bit of a slow time, and then after that you got training camp in July, all year round except June. And even in June, you're there's moves that are getting made. I'm hoping that they're all there. I really look at the Chargers pick and the Ravens pick, and I think like those two might take wide receivers, but we'll see. I mean, the Giants might look at that and say like, we need to trade up in front of the Chargers and take the guy that they want. I don't think Joe Schoen will trade down. I mean, listen, if he does, more power to him. And I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but I just really think that we need to get one of these players that we really want. Now, if Joe Schoen really wants 10 players that are still on the board, then that's different. But I'm looking at this like it's probably about to be like 4 players by the time we get to 25 that I really want. Yeah, hopefully Washington takes somebody like Kincaid or something, even though he's going to be a monster. Jets. Apparently, the Jets just made a pick. Whoa, guys! Do you all know? I just saw on Twitter who the Jets took. Let's look, and you guys can try to figure out which one of these players do you think that the Jets took? Which one of these players you think that the Jets took? I saw it on Twitter. Just tell me out of these edges, I do not know why they're doing that outside. Out of these edges, which one of these players did you think that the Jets took? Tell me, out of this list of edges, where do you think that the Jets went? You got Nolan there. You got Nolan Smith. They didn't go that crazy, but they might as well. When you all see this pick, you guys are going to be laughing. Now, listen, we'll see. You guys are going to be like, I cannot believe that this is happening. These teams are really getting out of their way for the Giants to get a player that they want because I did not think that the Jets would go here. I did not think the Jets would go here. Poor kid is a Jets fan. This is his wish, and he's a Jets fan. All right, we'll see. You guys tell me what you think of this pick. You guys let me know. You guys are going to like literally fall out of your chairs. That kid was so excited for the Jets to be taking Will McDonald. Will McDonald taken at 15 is a little bit too high. He's got potential, but I did not expect him to go this high. I just didn't expect it. Just caught a chill right there. I did not expect him to go this high. Do you all? I'm not even going to go to that page. We're not even going to talk about who's on the board. But they took Will McDonald over Nolan Smith, who's also really athletic. They took him. Listen, he could become a dominant player, but at 15, man, or maybe the NFL just saw him as a higher rated prospect than everybody else did. Yeah, I thought he was a second rounder too. I thought he'd be like a top 12 pick in the second round. And Nolan Smith is a beast, man. Like I would be okay taking Nolan Smith because he's a guy that's good against the run too. He has to work out, what he's doing in the pass rush game, but he's a guy that's good against the run. Washington might be taking Joey Porter Jr. or they could be taking um, Christian Gonzalez. Hopefully they don't get him, but they could be taking Kincaid. Hopefully they take Kincaid. I don't know what's going on with Christian Gonzalez and why he's falling. I got to figure out what's going on with this dude and why he's falling. Why is this dude jumping over cars in the parking lot when you could get hurt, man? Let's see. Washington. Yeah, I got the Washington pick. I saw who they took, but it's looking good for the Giants. It's looking really good for the Giants. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with Christian Gonzalez though, and why this dude is falling like a sack of potatoes. Um, what's going on with Christian Gonzalez? Maximus. Listen, if I get listen, if two people besides Maximus, you guys just weigh in the chat. Do you want me to tell you who Washington took? If I see like overwhelmingly amount of people want me to tell you who not we but who Washington took, I'll tell you. If not, I'll just wait it out. Granny says yes. Yeah, we don't know what's going on with that. Everybody's saying yes. Okay, Washington took Emmanuel Forbes, the guy 160, not the biggest corner, but they took Emmanuel Forbes. He's the guy that had 14 interceptions in his college career. He had six pick sixes. So explosive cornerback, playmaking cornerback, but I don't think he's the best cornerback on the board. I don't think he's the best corner on the board, but I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a first rounder. So let's see. Will McDonald and Emmanuel Forbes. Yeah, man. Like we're at 17. We got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 picks. Listen, we got 8 picks here. At the very least, we're in striking distance to be able to trade up to get one of these players that we want. And again, I'm not even going to point them out because I won't even throw the energy out there because right now we're looking good. We're looking real good. We're looking good. And it almost makes me mad because Dallas has a couple of the needs that we have, and they're going to get a good player too. Pats desperately need a cornerback. Yeah, they do. Let's see who they take though, because it seems like the league does not like Christian Gonzalez, and I don't know why. Because we can watch as much tape as we want, but maybe the player is a little bit different in person. The Bachelorette is apparently an Eagles fan. The Washington fans didn't even know who Emmanuel Forbes was, but Emmanuel Forbes is a guy that I've been like having an eye out on for months now. But yeah, he could be an All Pro corner because again, 14 interceptions in his college career, and 6 of them went for touchdowns going back the other way. So interesting stuff right there. I think if Will Levis lasts to 23, the Vikings will take him. The Buccaneers could take him too. Buccaneers, they need a quarterback. I don't know. There's a guy in my neighborhood that straight piped a Honda Civic, and he rides around this neighborhood with his straight piped Honda Civic like 6, 7, 8 times in a row. Like he's driving on a racetrack, like driving slowly, but like laps the neighborhood in his straight pipe Honda Civic. But we'll see what's going on with Levis. I might take Hooker over Levis, but I think the Buccaneers are going to take a quarterback. Exactly, Maximus. A straight pipe four cylinder is literally the worst sound ever. It's the worst sound ever. Let's see. Patriots took Christian Gonzalez. I mean, not like not like I expected Gonzalez to fall to us without trading up. But the fact that this dude fell as far as he did is something else. The plan is still to get the guy that I'm trying to get. So we'll see. His sister competed for Colombia in the 2020 Summer Olympics. Yeah, I mean a Hellcat at least his at least is not a four cylinder. It sounds a lot better than just a pure straight pipe four cylinder. It's like it's just obnoxious at that point. Not the Hellcats aren't loud. It's just a different sound. His dad is like 6'8". Man, we almost had Christian Gonzalez, man. We almost had him. Not almost, but we almost were in striking distance. Listen, I feel like if he would have gotten past the Patriots, and good on the Patriots for making the Lions pay for thinking that they could get Christian Gonzalez, but the Lions are probably going to take Deontay Banks here. Just like that, you got two cornerbacks off in a row, and the Lions will probably make it three. So it's just about who you think they'll take. Exactly. Like, I mean, Christian Gonzalez probably thought that he would be at worst like a top 12 pick. He probably at that Lions pick when they took Jameer Gibbs, he probably was surprised. You're saying maybe we jump in front of the Chargers for JSN. I mean, listen, if we can get realistically any one of these top three receivers, I'm happy. Um, JSN and Addison are my two guys that I really want. And I'm thinking that the Chargers and the Ravens are going to take wide receivers. So hopefully the Chargers and the Ravens, one of them take Zay Flowers, or one of them take somebody like Jalen Hyatt, or one of them take something like not a receiver, because that pretty much solidifies we're getting one of the top two guys, in my opinion. Yeah, hopefully they take Quentin Johnston because of his height. But Quentin Johnston jumps up at 6'4" and catches the ball like this. He catches it like this. I don't get it. Yeah, BJ and Aziz Ojolari would be a nice. It would be a nice tandem, along with Thibodeau, of course. Nice rotation. The Ojolari brothers and Thibodeau. You said Levis is a backup for DJ. I don't think they do that. I mean, Levis is kind of similar to DJ as far as like their athletic build, but I don't think they do that. Definitely not in the first round. Yeah, we definitely got Ashawn Robinson too. Like I said, we're about like 4 or 5 deep at defensive tackle right now. And that's including like defensive end and a 3-4. But as far as interior defensive linemen, we got our top two guys. We got DJ Davidson. We got AJ. We got Ashawn Robinson. We got Nacho. And one more guy we brought in. Oh, yeah. We got Nick Williams from last year. So that's 6 players right there for those 3 spots. And we'll see what we add on to there. One of those guys will probably be competing with a guy like Nick Williams. But right now, Miles Murphy is a risk reward. I'm not that high on Miles Murphy. It's just I'm not really that high on him, but again, as a third pass rusher, I wouldn't be upset. Would I pass on Nolan Smith? I would for one of the wide receivers. But if the wide receivers that I don't like, if the wide receivers that I like are gone, then yeah, definitely. Nolan Smith is definitely in play right there. Definitely in play right there. Not saying that I pass on him for any of those other guys. I mean, not saying that I pass on him for BJ Ojolari like I was talking about earlier. Yeah, I am surprised that Washington didn't go Kincaid, but I mean, they got a good player. So the Patriots took Christian Gonzalez. He's off the board. Lions here. The pick is in. They're not out of the commercial yet, but the pick is in. We're moving a little bit faster than I expected. Hopefully, we can get to 25 soon. We're at 2 hours, 13 minutes so far. Fubo is buffering. Still can't get over passing on Pickens for Wandale. I didn't understand that either. I didn't get it either, guys. Didn't get it either, but it shows that they like little twitchy wide receivers, which, I mean, what can you do? Maybe that means they want Zay Flowers, but it just shows that they value the route running. They're not throwing contested catches here. Yeah, if Nolan Smith gets selected before 25, it only pushes players that we really need and are good players down just that much more. Let's see. I'm going to throw this off stage for a second. All right, throw it back on. All right, let's see if they show me what's going on. Lions took Jack Campbell. That's a really good pick. Jack Campbell is one of my favorite players this year. They still needed a cornerback. They could have gotten Christian Gonzalez and Jack Campbell, but nonetheless, Jack Campbell is going to turn that defense around in the middle. Uh, do it all linebacker. He could be the next Pro Bowl linebacker. I don't think he's a Fred Warner type, but he could be the next Pro Bowl, top 3 or 4 middle linebacker in the league. Yeah, like I said, I just didn't think Jack Campbell or any other of these linebackers would get much playing time. They probably play like 30% of the snaps because we got Okereke. But good for the Giants. He didn't take a cornerback. That pushes one more down. Um, so let's throw this on here. Jack Campbell, great pick for them. Of course, the rest of the league understands that Trenton Simpson is overrated and he should not be getting drafted before Jack Campbell. I just love that this played out the way that I said it should months ago. Um, the Buccaneers, where did they go? Did they go Will Levis or did they go Hendon Hooker? Levis or Hooker? It's got to be one of these quarterbacks. I mean, you got to think, and they're dancing, they're dancing in the war room. So I think it's probably Levis. I think it's probably Levis. I think it's probably Levis. Only reason I say Levis is because they dance like that. It's like they think he has a high ceiling. That's just me throwing my own 2 cents into it. But it could very well be Hooker. But for some reason, I just thinking that it's Levis. The way they do dance like that is because they think Levis is going to be like some superhero that throws the ball a million miles an hour. They said we need a receiver LeBron size so DJ can see him. Well, we got Darren Waller, 6'6". I mean, almost LeBron size. You know who is LeBron size? Darnell Washington, 6'6". Oh, he's not 6'9". I thought he was 6'8" or 6'9", but he's 6'6", 264. I feel like there's some tight end this year that's like 6'8" or 6'9". I think Darnell Washington was supposed to be 6'8", and they measured him and he wasn't. Yeah, A.T. Perry is a monster, man. If we could get him on the team, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be ecstatic for A.T. Perry being a Giant. Buccaneers pick is in. 19th pick. Is it Hooker? Is it Levis? Kalijah Cansey. So they don't take a quarterback. They don't take a quarterback. So they don't take a quarterback. Wow. That is really surprising. Kalijah Cansey was a guy who I had in play for us at 25 that I just assumed would be there. But I mean, good player. But also I think the Buccaneers did get Baker Mayfield. Yeah, they're comparing. It's not fair. He's undersized. He's a defensive tackle from Pitts. He's fast. He's not Aaron Donald though. No way, no how. Yeah, the Giants got to go get that pick. If they want one of those guys, I'm thinking they're gonna go boom boom. Like I think they're gonna go back to back. I think they're gonna go straight back to back because I mean the Chargers need a wide receiver. And it's not even that they need one, it's that they want a wide receiver to compete there. And it's just like everybody thinks they will. And then the Ravens, of course, need to add on to that wide receiver core, but that could look like Dalton Kincaid, but they also already have Mark Andrews there. So you got to think that one of these two teams are going to take a wide receiver. And it could be Seattle. Could be Seattle taking a wide receiver. Yeah, Maximus, you're right. It could be Seattle. So, just a quick picture of what the Giants are looking like right now. Right now, I mean, the way you're looking at this is like we could get one of these players that I've talked about starting the stream off, and we could also be in a spot where we have both quarterbacks on the board. And if a team in the second round wants to trade up to get one of these quarterbacks, they could actually trade up. We can trade back in that second round or even in the late first round and get good value. Get good value on that trade because the team is trading up for a quarterback. Yeah, I could definitely see Seattle taking Kincaid. Taking a look at their needs, offensive guard, edge, wide receiver, cornerback. At this point, like I said, we're in a good spot. We're in a really good spot right now. You got 5 picks ahead of us, and there's at least 6 or 7 players that I feel really excited about. Listen, I'm not going to mention names. I don't want to jinx it, but you got 2 here. You got 3 there. That's 5. Do you think that all 5 of these players that I just showed on the screen, you think that all 5 of those guys are going to be gone in the next 5 picks? Hopefully not. But guess what? You also got a couple of, you probably got a player here that I would take. You also got Brian Branch. I don't care about Brian Branch getting taken ahead of us, so I'll mention his name. But you got a lot of options. A lot of options. I'd take Kincaid if we didn't have if we didn't have Waller. Also possible you can just say we need to bolster that offensive line, and we take Michael Smith. So right now the Giants are looking really good because, like I said, one of these quarterbacks are going to be there. Now, if Hendon Hooker goes to the Vikings, then Will Levis, the guy that people think they can mold into the quarterback they want because he's got the physical tools, one of those quarterbacks is going to be there if you don't like any of the players that are there and you want to trade back. So Giants are looking good right now. I want to see what this Seattle pick is because this is a pivotal pick. If Seattle goes, listen, go any position but the position of people that line up out wide and catch the ball, and I'll be ecstatic. What's going on, Diablo? Listen, man, we got to close it up here. We got to close it up. I'm actually surprised that Joe Schoen isn't trading up to this pick. I thought he would make a move like this, but I'm surprised he isn't. Too many great players available. I'm nervous. I really want the Ohio State wideout. I listen. Those 2 top receivers, I'm not even going to mention them because the luck has been on my side. I want those 2 players on my team more than anything. More than anything. Maybe the Seahawks surprise us and they say, wait, they want a developmental quarterback and they take Will Levis. That would be great. That'd be really great. Yeah, Joe Schoen is doing his thing. Listen, dude, stop talking about the why. Listen, man. I think that's Daniel Jeremiah. Stop talking about the players that I want. Don't mention them. Don't mention them. Don't mention any of them. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it, man. Stop saying I'm muting my TV. I don't want to hear these guys. Uh I don't want to hear it. And I gotta look on Twitter just because they just I feel like they just jinx me right here. I just feel like they just jinx me right here. They keep mentioning it. They're trying to speak it into existence. Oh man. I just went and saw the pick, man. Like this is what I'm talking about. When these announcers go out here and start speaking stuff into existence, this is what this is what does it, man. This is what does it. This is like because they all went out here and repeatedly mentioned it over and over and over again because they repeatedly mentioned these names over and over again. One of them goes off the board because they repeatedly mentioned one of them goes off the board because these three announcers got together and just kept repeating it over and over again. This is what happens. And now you got the Chargers on the board. This is literally my nightmare scenario. All right, guys, it's Deontay Banks season. It's Deontay Banks season because listen, it's got to be Deontay Banks season now. Literally not what I wanted to hear at all. These announcers really spoke that into existence. And here we go. He comes out with like 7 kids, and we have to hear these kids tell their life story. No offense to the kids. I'm glad they're here. But when people are waiting hours and hours to hear what their team does, man, like, come on now. And that one kid tore his ACL playing flag football. That one kid tore her ACL. The one in the Pioneers jersey, she's got a knee brace on. Am I watching the NBA playoffs? No. I mean, I'm a Lakers fan. I watch the Lakers games here and there, but it's just something about the NBA that's it's just been losing my attention every year. But yeah, there you go. This is the pick that I saw get made about 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago. JSN to the Seahawks. And they literally did their best to speak this into existence. Those announcers kept talking and kept talking about them. So that's what happened there. That's what happened there. And you got, guess what? You got the Chargers, you got the Ravens next. But I'm sure Joe Schoen is going to sit there because, I mean, one of the cornerbacks has got to be there, right? One of them got to be there, right? You got, I mean, one of them has got to be there. The wide receiver plan might be finished, though. Yeah, they had to trade up. They had to trade up to 19 or 20 if they were going to get one of these. Yeah. Tough. Well, JSN is going to get to play in the slide, so. JSN could very well be the best wide receiver in this draft. He just got to stay healthy. But he could very well be the best wide receiver in the draft. He wasn't my wide receiver one, but seeing him go off the board right here, he was my wide receiver too. So didn't want to see that. I wish they would have taken Kincaid. Please send Dalton Kincaid to send him to the Chargers, man. Don't they need an Antonio Gates part two? Witherspoon and Jigba, yeah. Witherspoon went to yeah, you're right. Witherspoon and Jigba. They got really good. So right now, the Chargers are on the clock. They probably have already made the pick. And you gotta I'm just hoping that this pick is Dalton Kincaid. I'm just hoping it's Kincaid. I'm just hoping it's Kincaid. So the pick is in. I'm gonna take a quick break real quick. Be right back. The pick is in. Hopefully I can get back in time for the pick. All right, didn't miss the pick. I really hope I really hope it's Kincaid here. You said you take Kincaid if the Bolts don't. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad. It's just I would just be trying to figure out where they fit him because he's pretty much the exact same player as Darren Waller. Not the exact same player, but the same role. Charger selection. Take Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid. He's a Charger. He sounds like a Charger. Dalton Kincaid. Quentin Johnston. Yeah, yes. Quentin Johnston to the Chargers. I love this pick. I love this pick. Quentin Johnston to the Chargers is perfect. I did not want that dude on the Giants in the slightest. The dude literally goes up to Moss people like this. He could end up being the best wide receiver. He literally could if he develops, if he figures out how to play and use his size, but he can't do it right now. Can't do it right now. I don't think Jacksonville's taking a wide receiver. I think they would take Kincaid, maybe, but I don't think they need any weapons right now. This was the best case scenario for me. Like Quentin, the body catcher Johnson. Listen, they need to stop mentioning players' names. You said Dallas has four tight ends. Yeah, but we actually have a bunch of wide receivers that we want to work the slot. It's just I don't know where they're going to line up. I mean, I don't know where the snaps would come from. Like I don't think they'll run a bunch of two tight end sets when at the same time I just don't think they'll run those because they we'll see. I don't know. I think they probably want to move forward with Bellinger, but we'll see. Maybe Bellinger is finished here as far as getting reps. So Baltimore is on the clock. The Chargers literally did the one thing that I just had hoped that they did. You got the Ravens, you got the Vikings, you got the Jags. So the Ravens could very well take a wide receiver. They could very well take the wide receiver that I want, who I have still not mentioned this entire stream since the first couple minutes. They could very well take that guy, but they could very well take him, or they could not even take a wide receiver, or they could take the other guy, or they could take another guy. But the Vikings, you got to think are going to go either cornerback or quarterback. On top of that, the Jags, they need some cornerback help. They need some safety help. They need some tight end help. They could go offensive guard too. So we'll see. He says Zay Flowers is your favorite wide receiver until people jumped on the bandwagon. Yeah, all of this stuff is possible. They got Odell Beckham. Um, we heard some rumblings that the Ravens may trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Hopefully that's true. That'll leave another wide receiver on the board. Hopefully the Ravens do what's right. Hopefully they do what's right. Here they go with the Whopper commercial. Hopefully they go. Uh, hopefully they go tight end or something else. Burger King is nasty. Yeah, I've never liked Burger King ever. Jalen Hyatt is better than. I don't think so, man. But listen, I mean, anything can happen. Hyatt is definitely really talented as far as the speed, but everything else, I just don't see that on tape. As far as him being, a better player at wide receiver. You said you heard Hopkins to the Bills. Maybe. Hopefully the Ravens, like I said, go out and get a guy that we don't want. Hopefully they take somebody like somebody that we just don't care about at all. That's all I can think of is something that we just don't want. The Ravens pick is in. All right, let's see the pick. Yeah, we're definitely not trading up at this point. Pick is in, pick is in, pick is in, pick is in. I really do not want to I'm not even gonna put that out there, guys. I'm not. You guys will see you guys will see my reaction if things don't go the way I want. They took Zay Flowers. Okay. Just like you said, Atlantic Lion, they can take they can take Zay Flowers. That wasn't a guy I was checking for. Hopefully he does work with Lamar Jackson, but I wasn't checking for Zay Flowers. Not on the Giants. So guess what? Guess what, guys? We got one on the board. We got one on the board. The one that I wanted. The guy I thought is the best wide receiver on the board. We got him. We got him on the board. With 2 picks ahead, it's very possible that he's there. It's real possible that the Vikings take a corner. Real possible that the Jags take a corner or receiver, a corner or a tight end, or a safety. So it's looking like we got our guy. At least I got my guy as far as who I wanted. But I'm not going to start celebrating yet. I will drop a video, or I'm gonna do what I normally do. I'm gonna record a video where I react to the pick. You says you don't want a wide receiver. Listen, I want a wide receiver because we still don't have a number one wide receiver, and I think that what's on the board right now, the guy that I'm looking for on the board right now, if he's still there, I think he's a number one wide receiver. If he can develop, not even if he can develop, I think he's that number one guy that's always open. I think that that's him. So I don't think we have that, and I think we need it in the worst way possible. Jalen Hyatt is small. Diablo. It's not like Jalen Hyatt is like an imposing figure. Jalen Hyatt is 176. I mean, Let's see. Yeah, they're the same. They're the same weight. They're the same weight, man. They're the same weight. Zay Flowers is heavier than both of them. Only reason I'm even considering height is because we have a really good offensive coach, and he'll be able to use him on those crossers and a lot of those routes. But as far as route running, it's not close, man. Jalen Hyde is not it's not there right now. I understand that, man, but at the same time, there's no guarantee that any this offensive line class is not that good at all. As far as first round offensive linemen, you basically just have a bunch of second to fourth round offensive linemen there, especially at interior offensive linemen. I just don't see it. I just don't see it, man. I just don't see that offensive lineman that you need to take over these other players that are going to make much more of an impact. When I mean John Michael Smith, Steve Avila, uh, Ricky Stromberg is going to go in like the third or fourth round. All of those guys are starting centers. So I just don't see the point of taking one of those guys at 25. If we do, great. I'll take it because we do need help there. But I just don't see the point of taking one of those guys there. And the biggest problem with our offensive line last year was the right tackle. And we're not replacing right tackle in 1 year. We're not benching Evan Neal. So if Evan Neal takes the next step, we don't need to even worry about offensive line. Says you want a corner. I'll take a corner too. But my number one guy has been my number one guy for months now. Vikings are on the board. Vikings could go a number of different ways. They lost Adam Thielen, so you could say they need a wide receiver, which would break my heart. It will break my heart. It literally break my heart. They could go wide receiver because they lost Adam Thielen and they want to double down on on a wide receiver for Kirk Cousins. Or they could take a cornerback, which is their biggest need by far. Or they could say Kirk Cousins is going into the last year of his deal. We need a quarterback going forward. Let's let him sit under Kirk Cousins for a year and let him improve. Thielen, I think, went to where did Thielen go? Where did Thielen go? He went to one of these teams, man. He might still be a free agent. He's on the Panthers. Thielen is on the Panthers. But I mean, listen, they if the Vikings don't go cornerback or quarterback, they should be ashamed of themselves. If they don't go one of those positions, they should literally be ashamed of themselves because there's no way, there's just no way that you can watch what you put out there on tape at cornerback last year and think that that's fine to go forward into another season. There's no way you can justify that. And of course, they're going to commercial with a minute left on the clock. And of course, we'll find out on Twitter who they took in about 30 seconds, probably. This is like with 2 picks left. This is where I stopped looking at Twitter to see who went off the board because I can just taste it. I can just listen. I did not expect this draft to play out like how it's played so far. So the pick is in. All right. And this is where I'm not even looking at the chat at this point until I see what this pick was. Jaguars on the clock. The Giants are in the hole. So The pick is in for the Vikings. Hopefully, Roger Goodell struts himself out there pretty soon and reads off this pick, because this is pretty much. I'm not going to say it, but hopefully Roger Goodell can read off this pick. But right now, I have three players that I'm on the moon about. Three players I'm over the moon about, and I'd be happy with any of them. I'd be happy with any of them. And I just hope that Joe Schoen is thinking of the same three players that I am. If not four, I'm just hoping that he's thinking of the same players that I am. The Vikings draft room is going crazy. We can only imagine what they're doing. Everybody's standing up, shaking hands. This could literally be. This has to be a quarterback. It's got to be a quarterback. The way that the way they're celebrating, the way that they're pacing the room, the way that they're shaking hands is like they just altered the direction of their franchise. And I don't see Roger Goodell anywhere near the slate, anywhere near the stage. I don't see him anywhere near the stage. I don't understand why we're just sitting here playing, playing footsie, waiting for Roger Goodell to walk out on the stage and read the pick. The pick has been in. We saw them celebrating. I don't get it. All right. Roger Goodell is finally walking out. He's smiling. There's no kids with him. He's got the card. 23rd pick. I can literally not believe this. I cannot believe this. I can literally not believe that the Vikings traded up to take Jordan. They didn't trade up. The Vikings took Jordan Addison when they don't have a cornerback that can play the position on their roster. So I see that the Giants traded up. Let me hit record. What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. I just see right now. Don't mind this. Or you all can't see this, but on my stream I have a mock simulator on the board. But right now the Vikings just took Jordan Addison. I have no idea why the Vikings took the player that I wanted for months. They took Jordan Addison at 23 when they don't have a cornerback on their roster that can play the position. They were more focused on putting Jordan Addison with Justin Jefferson. Two players that I want. I'm an LSU fan. I wanted Justin Jefferson and I wanted Jordan Addison, but that's a whole different story. They put these two players together. They're going to make huge moves. They're going to do huge things on the football field. They're going to make a ton of explosive plays. But guess what? At the end of the day, there's nobody on the Minnesota Vikings that can cover. There's nobody on the Minnesota Vikings that can cover people. There's nobody there. And they still took Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison would have been the perfect fit for the Giants. He's the perfect fit for Dable's system. He's the perfect route runner for what Dable was looking for. The guy was literally I just can't even put into words how upset I am about the Giants not getting this player. Now the Giants have to be looking for a cornerback at this point. We got to be looking for a cornerback. You got Deontay Banks on the board. You got Joey Porter Jr. on the board. And the Giants, by the way, have traded up ahead of Jacksonville. We swapped picks with Jacksonville. And it looks like we're going to take a player pretty soon. My computer is going haywire in the background. I have no idea why. It's literally going haywire. But we traded up. We traded up for this pick. I'm trying to figure out what I can clear out to make my computer not act like this. But again, like I said, the Giants traded up. And I'm guessing they traded up to take Joey Porter, or they traded up to take um, Deonte Banks. And I really think the Giants would have taken Deonte Banks or Jordan Addison, regardless. But we'll see what they do. And I'm sure right now I'm not looking at my chat because I don't want to be spoiled as someone speeds outside my house. But I don't want to get spoiled. But it seems like I said, like they're going to take Deonte Banks. That's what I would think. Or Joey Porter Jr. One of those guys. And now we're on commercial, of course. Now we're on commercial, and because we're on commercial, like I'm not gonna wait the entire commercial break. I'm not gonna wait the entire commercial break for this. And I'm just gonna just listen, guys. I'm just gonna search it on Twitter because we decided to go to commercial break. So I don't want to look at the chat because I don't want to get spoiled, or else I would ask them, should I wait for the pick or should I not? Should I wait for the pick or should I not? I think I just got spoiled. So I'm going to give this about 30 seconds before I start talking about the pick that I may not seen. I'm going to give this about 30 seconds for them to announce this pick because I'm not sure if that was the right pick or not. But I'm pretty sure, like I said, that the Giants will be making this trade to take Deonte Banks. He fits our system perfectly. Perfect body type for our system. I'm really annoyed that we didn't get Jordan Addison and that the Vikings should be taking the guy that we are probably going to take. And I'm going to give this about 10 more seconds as I'm going to continue to ramble as you see a courtyard commercial. And they've literally gone to commercial when the Giants just made their pick. Can't make this up. Cannot make it up, people. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start talking about the pick that was made because I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to spoil. If I want to spoil it, okay. The chat is spoiling it. Okay, the Giants took Deonte Banks. We're still on commercial break, so I'm not. I'm not going to keep waiting. I'm already recording. The Giants took Deonte Banks here. This is what I expected them to do as soon as Jordan Addison went off the board. I was thinking about a couple of picks ago. I said we got Zay Flowers on the board, we got Jordan Addison on the board, we got Deonte Banks on the board, and we got Joey Porter Jr. on the board. So Joe Schoen decided not to trade up to get his wide receiver of choice. I think Jordan Addison was his wide receiver of choice, but he decided not to trade up for him. And he just said, I'll just take whichever player between Jordan Addison and Deonte Banks and probably a couple of other players, and maybe Joey Porter is on the board. So it looks like we've taken Deonte Banks. The guy is, let me just pull up some of his measurements just to give you all some context. The guy's 6'2", 205 as I pull this up. I thought he was 6'2", 205, but you got conflicting reports there. But big corner, physical corner, fast corner, can play man coverage, fluid hips, everything you want out of a man press corner. You want him and Adoree Jackson back there playing corner on either side of the field. I don't think you can go wrong right there. I don't think we could have made a better pick with who was on the board at this point. So you're not going to get a rant video, but I still am annoyed that Jordan Addison was there because I was so convinced that the rest of the league or that the NFL was seeing things like me and that Jordan Addison will be the first or second receiver taken off the board. But he was there past Quentin Johnston. When Quentin Johnston went to when he went at 21 to the Chargers, I celebrated. But We got him. We got Deontay Banks. I think this is a need. I think it's probably more of a need than wide receiver, technically, if we can stay healthy. So, NFL Network is listing him at 6 feet 197. He was listed at 6'2", 205, but NFL Network has him at 6 feet 197. Press corner, strong corner. They're showing some highlights of him pressing guys out at the line, staying with them in man to man. That's what Wink wants to do. So I'm looking for us in the future, or not in the future, but in the future, in the second and third round, we'll probably add a wide receiver in one of those rounds. We may even look to trade up for a guy like Jalen Hyatt or, one of those guys in the second or third round. A.T. Perry is my next guy that I really want at wide receiver since we got our guy is gone. My guy, Addison, is gone. But good pick. Good pick from the Giants. As we got a guy that straight piped a 4-cylinder Honda Civic outside. But good pick from the Giants. Good pick. And again, this is the way. This is the only way they could have gone at this spot as the Bills make a trade up. And I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up here, and we'll see what happens the rest of this draft. So I'm gonna take a look back at this chat. Yeah, I hope we can get A.T. Perry. Hopefully we can get A.T. Perry. Kareem, I was ending the video. I wasn't ending the stream. But I probably will end the stream pretty soon. But I am sick, man. I'm sick we didn't get Addison. But I really do love that we got Deontay Banks. You said Keeley is better than Banks? Time will tell. I mean, Keely Ringo, his hips aren't as fluid as Deontay Banks, but he is bigger, might be a touch faster. But as far as pure cover corner, I mean, Deontay Banks is on tape is just ahead of him as far as how often he gets beat versus how often he doesn't get beat. But Ringo could be an all-pro corner if you let him develop. Yeah, I am curious to see what the Giants traded to give up to move up that one spot because we did trade up for him. Let's see. Let's see. The Giants traded pick 25 and pick 160. So pick 160 is about like what, a fourth or fifth round pick? Let's see. Pick 160. Yeah, pick 160 is a fifth round pick. So the Giants traded a fifth round pick to move up one spot. Yeah, the Giants, we only gave up a five, so I'm not worried about that at all. So to add context, it says Dan Duggan says that the Giants traded a fifth and a seventh. So I'm getting conflicted reports here. I'm getting conflicting reports here. One says we traded pick 160 from Dove Cleveland, and Dan Duggan says we traded a fifth and a seventh. Either way, we did trade a fourth, so I'm not upset about this at all. Mango Mixes, I don't think we were going to get Deontay Banks at 25. I think they basically paid for Deontay Banks by moving up one spot. I think the I think the Jags might have taken Deontay Banks. I think they might have taken him. I am not a fan of Rasheed Rice at all, but said Tillman isn't bad. A.T. Perry. Um, what's the guy? Josh Downs. He won't be there, but there's a ton of wide receivers I take it in the second round if they're there. But A.T. Perry is at the top of my list. Unless for some reason Jalen Hyatt's there, I might consider him over A.T. Perry. But A.T. Perry is my guy for who I think could be there, but he might not be there. Because a lot of these teams are going to have to pass on a wide receiver for the second time, and I just don't see that happening. But the Giants gave up nothing. I mean, a fifth and a seventh round pick is nothing. I mean, those players rarely amount to anything. They rarely do anything. I cannot wait until we play the Vikings. I can't wait until we play the Vikings. You said with Waller on the team. Listen, I agree with you, but when is the last time Waller has shown that he can stay healthy? And I'm not wishing it. I'm not wishing anything, but he's got to stay healthy. And on top of that, you need some wide. We just need some wide receivers. But I am happy we got Deontay Banks. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this video. And when I upload this video, I already know there's going to be a bunch of people upset with my reaction, even though I didn't have a strong reaction at all. Dalton Kincaid to the Bills, perfect pick. Beautiful pick. Yeah, this is a really good pick. Yeah, really good pick for them. Kincaid is a monster. I really have not been on a Michael Mayer trade. I mean, train. I mean, you want a tight end, get a wide receiver that's a tight end. You know, get a guy that's going to change the game from a tight end position because Michael Mayer is going to get there. He's going to sit in zones. He's You got to get a Travis Kelsey. Yeah, A.T. Perry to me is like when I first saw him, I was like, he's the best wide receiver in the draft. After I watched some more and more of the other guys, I mean, he kind of pushed back down. But A.T. Perry, man, I wouldn't be mad if we had taken him with that pick. A.T. Perry is a monster, man. He looks like he could turn into A.J. Green. Not A.J. Green, but everything that A.J. Green is at a lesser level, if that makes sense. But guys, we stayed on 3 hours. I think I'm gonna check out. Think I'm gonna check out now. But I will have that video I just recorded up, and more content will be coming for the second and third round. Hopefully, we can get A.T. Perry tomorrow. I love the pick. I mean, I'm happy with the pick. Deontay Banks was a guy I thought realistically would be there, and then all of a sudden he moved up, and apparently he moved back down in real life. Joey Porter Jr. is still on the board right now, so use your noggin, guys. Listen, I told people for a while that I was not that high on Joey Porter Jr., and it seems like the NFL isn't either. So keep an eye on that. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off, get me some dinner, and upload this video. So you guys have a good one.